Perfect timing. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Brian Terrian and Nadine here today for our YouTube live event. Thank you for joining and piling in as we watch the numbers. Thank you for the intro music. That was much more inspiring than where we came from. I was just taking an extra moment to bask in it before we get started. Cool. So folks, here today on our Wednesday Live, we are going to talk about a critical aspect of the Social Security disability process, or just general healthcare, which is doctors' support and what to do primarily if you cannot get it. So I'll put our beautiful graphic up on the screen here once again. That was made by Miss Micah, who does our design work. Look at that. And the reason why we wanted to cover this today is in our current environment of Social Security, shall I say, uncertainty. One of the things that you can do is really to control your doctoring and make sure that if your doctors don't support you, that you're taking the right steps to get your medical records in line. And this applies for anybody with any condition that's going to the doctors, because you need your evidence in, even if you're working full time, you need your evidence correct in your medical file so that if you do have to stop working, then you could get what you're entitled to. So that's what we have in store today. What else are we going to do today, Nadine? Oh, you're on mute. There we go. Still on mute. I'll cover for you though. We are going to do a Q&A, right? Going to do a Q&A. I hope your audio comes in, because then I'd have to do the Q&A. And then we are going to offer the opportunity for some of you to come on down here. Let me see if I can do anything with your mic. No, you're not muted, but I'll mute you and then ask to unmute. See if that does it. Now turn on the Zoom room. Turn your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. We got
All
it.
right. Okay. I got nervous. Like, how am I gonna do the Q&A if people can't hear me?
Well,
All right.
it would be interesting.
That would be a challenge. Anyway, yeah, so as what Brian was saying, later I'm going to send a link for you guys to join us live via Zoom to ask your questions. And just a reminder, please make sure that you type in your question in the comment or send us your question via Zoom chat so that we would be able to
Yeah.
evaluate the question first before we let you in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're often asked, like, how can I speak with you? How can I talk to you? This is an opportunity for you to do it, no charge. Come on in here and you can ask a question, or if you have a success story, we'd love to hear it. And I'm
Yeah.
sure it would be helpful for others. Um, so we're going to do that today. Also, we're going to discuss the resources that the Disability Digest has. We provide a no-cost membership that will help you get, keep, and maximize your disability benefits. That what I'm going to share with you today is all accessible at no charge through the membership that we have. So if you're not a member, invite you to join us, share the link with others. Nadine will also put that in the chat at some point in time during the program. So these events are intended for you to help you understand like how to get your benefits approved, ideally fast, how to keep them, how to maximize them. So we hope that you enjoy the process. Our objective is to be a trusted resource for you. Now, how you could help us at this time is if you have a doctor related issue, like you've had a doctor that won't support you, or you're doctoring with somebody that you're wondering if you should keep them. We'd like to hear those. You can ask any question during the program, ideally disability related. But right now, what we'd like to hear is so we could, weave those into the first part of our presentation. So, okay. First of all, let's go through an example. You're going to the doctor, you're out of work, and you are concerned about getting your disability income. And you go to your doctor and you say, will you support me for my disability benefits? Doctor says no. That's one example. Another common example is somebody goes to the doctor and they're like, oh, I'm not able to work. I should apply for my disability benefits. What do you think, doc? Doctor says no. So I'm going to address those questions first. I wouldn't ask the questions to the doctor for these reasons. Doctors understand how to doctor. They do not understand the Social Security disability process. They don't understand what conditions qualify. They don't understand if you're over 50, under 50, what the regulations are. They might say that they do, but it really takes somebody being in this process day in and day out. So asking them their opinion and with the understanding that they don't know what they, what they should be saying, they really shouldn't answer the question, but they commonly do. It's not going to be beneficial or misleading for you, right? And then the other piece of that is this. In today's treatment environment, there are statistics that support that the doctor's visit is about 12 minutes long. So when you go see your doctor and you're asking them something that is based on your entire day, week, month that you cannot work, and you're asking them to answer, they don't really know you, right? They don't really understand like how well you sleep, what it's like to wake up in pain, that you can't sit or stand. So their value in an assessment of looking at your medical records that we're going to get into in a minute and your daily activities is really not going to be, in my opinion, accurate, right? Some people have spouses that don't even understand like what they're going through, so let alone your doctor. That white coat can be really deceiving. So I would take that into consideration. So how do you get around all of this, like asking, getting validation and all of that? My way of doing it, this is just me, almost 2 decades of doing this. There's almost 200,000 members that we serve and almost 100,000 people subscribe to our YouTube channel. So we've seen a lot of situations, but my best advice is you get a mirror that you can actually look into. No kidding. You look in the mirror and you say to yourself, can I really work like right now with my health? Can I reliably work 5 days a week, 40 hours a week? Can I do that? Usually the man in the mirror or woman in the mirror will give you the best answer, right? And you've got to be straight up with yourself. So that's how to address those two things for doctor's support so that you don't get into a situation that might lead you down the wrong path or give you some bad advice. So the next piece I'm going to get into is how to get doctor support, what actual doctor support document looks like. And then I'm going to get into some things that you can do on your own. So on the screen here, I'm going to share with you our disability approval course that you can access by joining us as a member when you click the green button and you fill out the profile. I haven't applied or applied and waiting, applied and denied. Then that, based on your profile and that you're not approved, you would end up coming in, speaking with an advocate. They get a better understanding of your situation and they put you into the disability approval course. No cost. We're supported by ads, sponsors, and services. So you get all of this and then you get into the disability approval course. When you're in the disability approval course, it has different sections. Section 1 is how to file your disability application. Section 2 is what to do while waiting. Section 3 is a reconsideration. Any of these first steps, if you don't have the right doctor's support, it could be what is preventing you from getting approved. So what is the right doctor's support? I'm going to share with you, not that, but this. In our disability approval course, section 2, there is these template forms called residual functional capacity report forms. And they're designed for you to print off, bring to your doctors, have your doctor fill them out. They even have a little introduction letter. As you may know, I'm applying for Social Security disability benefits, a theory of my case, then you insert some information that you've learned from us. You bring that into your doctor, and I'm just paraphrasing this, and then your doctor receives it, and then their job is to fill this out. Now, how you present these to the doctor, in my opinion, is important. If you ask them is one thing. If you tell them, it's another. Telling them is the best way to do it. Doctor, I can't work. You've been treating me for 3 years. I have degenerative disc disease. I can't sit for 15 minutes. I can't stand for more than 20 minutes. I cannot work. This is a part of the disability process. It'll take you 7 to 8 minutes to fill it out. I'll just wait for you while you do it. That's the best way to do it. You'll have low to no resistance. And there are some companies that say, like in California, there seems to be more that say that they cannot fill them out. Then you can say, well, can you provide me with your regulation that supports the fact that you are not able to fill out a function form? Because if you don't, then I'll just presume that you don't want to do it. Now, this might be really uncomfortable for you. I get it. But I'm just saying this is your health and these are your benefits, and this is really key to getting it. All right. Usually you don't have to go that far. Most of the doctors will fill this out for you. So there's a few key things in here I want to point out. And I am a little off topic because this is really about what doctors, if doctors say no, but I have covered that. You want to be assertive in doing this. This document here is for physical ailments that you have. There's another one for brain health or mental health, but the concept is still the same. The doctor's going to fill in the diagnosis, the objectives of the findings, and evaluation of the pain. So they're going to check off the limitations or pain that you're having from this. And I'm going to go down here on this one. It's section 11. "13 on this one. It's 11 on the brain health one. The key here is this. For question 13, it asks, on average, how often do you anticipate the patient's impairments or treatments would cause the patient to be absent from work? Now, if the doctor checks never, that's not a good sign. But if they check 3 or more times, and that's in line with what you've been communicating to the doctor, then that really increases your opportunity to get your benefits approved. That one question right there. Why is that? It's hard to keep a job if you're going to miss 3 days a week. I mean, it's just facts, any job that's out there. So if this makes its way all the way up to a judge and you've got good representation, they're going to go right to this point and point it out. Can't work 3 or more times. There's no jobs in the U.S. economy that can do. Nobody will, will have them. So if you are, for example, you've got the degenerative disc disease and the pain is so severe that impacts you for 2 days. And when it gets really intense, you get migraines that have you bedridden for another 2 days. So there's 4 days a month that you cannot work. That's supported in this. Then that's how you get around, the doctor that might say, I won't support you. All they need to do is fill out the questionnaire with the correct information. So again, these are important. These are in the disability approval course that we have. We can go in and you can access them. You can listen to an interview that goes into more detail about how to fill them out and how critical and why it's critical to have doctor support. There's many people that come to us. Actually, we just had somebody earlier today that is like a borderline individual that I believe we could help get approved. And there's, I think it was a younger individual, and they were missing 2 days a week is what the results of the evaluation was. But if that was increased to 3, or 2 is a maybe, but it's actually 3 and it's documented, then that one thing right there would change this individual's financial outcome for disability benefits. So these are really important. Okay, so remember out there, if you have questions regarding your doctoring experience, challenges that you've had getting support, or doctors that you don't like, or things in that doctor area, I'd love to hear from you. Now, if you're approved for benefits and listening to this, if you go through a CDR and your short form, long form does not get approved, then these are going to be helpful for you to keep your benefits. So you're not off the hook. And doctoring all the way through forever until you reach full retirement age is how you're going to keep your benefits, right? Okay. Now, let's move on a little bit to some other aspects of doctoring before we get into the Q&A. So we've covered some things like, why doctor support is important, some of the reasons why doctors don't support, like they don't understand you, that some people even like have a political preference or they don't believe people should be on disability. So those reasons are just, by asking and not knowing, you're putting yourself in a difficult situation. So the next thing I want to cover is, if the doctors don't fill out those forms right there, what do you do, right? So are you stuck or what? So in many of our episodes and work that we do, and I coach people, I emphasize journaling, documenting your limitations, and bringing those limitations to your doctors and reporting them. So if you're back to the degenerative disc disease individual that cannot sit for 15 minutes or stand for 20 minutes, and you are reporting that to your primary care, to your pain management, to your spine specialist, and they all have that in the records, then you are really, I guess you could call it like manipulating the medical records. What you're doing is part of this up here, which is documenting the pain and the limitations. So you're taking ownership of that. You should be doing that anyway. That's just good benefit protection to do that. So if you haven't tuned in to some of the other things like, what you need to say and do or what you need to prove, I would suggest that you do that or search the YouTube channel, or if you're a member here at the Disability Digest and what I've shared with you is new or not clear, then we can get you other videos and information that will help you understand like how to document your limitations and get those into your medical records. So that's a way around it. There's also alternative ways that you can strengthen your case above and beyond what I just mentioned about the limitations. There's other evidence that you can get from third-party sources, like somebody that you worked with, a superior, a coworker. It would be ideal if it's somebody that you reported to. And we have in our disability approval course, we have the general structure of what you would want to provide in a letter. What you don't want to do is you don't want to have a letter that just says, oh, Mary, she was great. We're going to miss her. We understand she has a bad back, degenerative disc disease. We tried to help her, but we couldn't. So, but what you were really looking for is, Mary, she worked here for 10 years. She did a great job. I noticed 8 months ago that her performance started to decline, and we tried to assist her by making special accommodations. We took some of the tasks away from her that required lifting. We gave her a stand-up, sit-down desk so she could be comfortable doing that. She was allowed to come in late, leave early, take naps in her car. That type of letter will clearly communicate that you were working, and then the general progression, like you're probably saying, oh man, this guy's got my head spinning with so much information. It is in the course. In the course is something for you to use to represent yourself and save the legal fees. Or here at the Disability Digest, if you're like, you know what, I just want to have somebody do it for me and make sure it's done right, that's an option you can discuss with our advocates. But I'm just saying that either way, you need to do it right if you want to make your case stand out against the 1.9 million that applied for disability last year. Otherwise, you're just really guessing. So, so that concludes some of the key things that you can do for your situation, your Social Security disability benefits, if your doctor will not support you. How about we want to move on to some questions? Oh,
Yeah, sure.
I do have one more thing. Sorry. I have two more things that I want to mention that I almost forgot. It's also important when you're doing your doctoring that you review your medical records, ideally after every visit. It doesn't take a lot of time. And make sure that you're getting accurate diagnosis, all your medications are in line. Last week, we went through 18 different things that we've found that are not reported accurately. So you want to make sure that it's the real deal. And then you want to make sure you understand that if it's not, what your right is to dispute it, which was covered in last week's event, CFR 16.526. That is the federal regulation that you can use to write and use a template letter that we provide you to send to your doctor. It's like, hey, I've asked you to fix these. You haven't fixed them. You have this amount of time to do it, and then confirm back to me. And if they don't, then you have the right to take it to the next level. Doctors do not want this to happen. I've used this in advocating for my mother, and it worked. So, last two things. Okay, Nadine, I'm done.
All right. So anyway, Philip is not here with us today, but he sent in a few questions from his Facebook group. Is
Okay.
it okay if we start with that?
Lovely. Let's do it.
All right. So the first question, it says, I just received review forms to fill out for my disability that I was awarded in 2018. Is this pretty standard? Should I worry about anything? My condition hasn't really improved or gotten any worse.
So 2018, so that's about a 7 year. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, the reviews are normal, first of all, and I wouldn't worry about it, especially now, because I presume you've been following our information for a long, long time, and you've been doing all the doctoring and, recording your limitations, and your medical records are in good shape, and you'll be fine. So, but whatever it is, the only thing you can do now is to appropriately fill out that form and send it in. And if you're a member here at the Disability Digest and you've joined us and indicated that you're approved, we have a comprehensive 10 segment How to Survive Your CDR course put together with James Mitchell Brown. So if you're a member at the Disability Digest and you missed it, then just contact the support desk and we'll get it back to you. Or if you're not a member, come on in. If you don't want to join us as a member, no harm, no foul. You can search on the YouTube channel, and I believe we released 4 out of the 10 segments on there. So
About
not the whole
CDR.
thing, but 4.
All right. Okay, so here's the second one. This is pretty long. So it says, I have a hypothetical question for you. Both a husband and wife apply for their own SSDI benefits, and they have two children under 18 living in the household. One parent's SSDI benefit would provide $250 in dependent benefits for the children, while the other parent's benefit would provide $1,200. If the spouse with the $250 benefit is approved first, should they add the children right away, or would it be better to wait until the spouse with the $1,200 benefit is approved? I understand that nothing is guaranteed with SSA and only 1% can claim dependent benefits for children if both are approved, but what would be the best approach in this situation?
Wow, I'm stumped. I don't know. That's a really good question. I mean, if you could get the higher amount of money, my first thought is to hold and go for that. I don't know if you can switch.
Mm,
Um, I don't know. That's a really good question. Yeah.
yeah. So maybe like hypothetically as well, it would be best to wait for the bigger check.
Yeah, well, true. I just, yeah, and the thing is, I mean, you could ask Social Security that. I don't know if you're going to get the right answer, but yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. If we happen to come across it, we'll put it back out there. That's like a unicorn type question or something, right? What's the term I'm looking for? Maybe a unicorn.
We have one last question from Philip's group. Is it common to be denied SSI but be approved for SSDI at the same time?
Yes, and what confuses people is this. Um, the application when it was submitted could have or likely did have the application box checked for both SSI and SSDI. And
Mm.
although the medical qualifications are the same, the assets and resources that you have, or now that you have, as a result of getting approved for your disability benefits, put you over the allowed amount for SSI. So they will say you're denied SSI. Sometimes they'll deny it and it's a very general letter and you don't know why. And you're like, oh my God. I mean, is the whole thing, am I out on Social Security too? But that's commonly what happens. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so to everyone who is still tuned in and watching us live right now, I've sent in the link for you to join us live to ask your questions. Um, yeah, feel free to join. But while we wait, oh, we have Ray.
Yeah. Once again, I forgot to make you co-host. I'm consistent. I do the same thing every week.
And I'm sorry I forget to ask. Next week, oh, we don't have one next week, right? But next show, I'll make sure to let you
Yeah,
know.
you'll be in
Yeah.
control. Oh no, actually, the next show you will be in control. I will not be here.
All right. Ray, before I let you in, please make sure to type in your question in the comment, or you can also send us a chat via Zoom. So while we wait for your question, we have a question here from Vincent. He asked, how can I obtain these forms for my ENT? I have Meniere's disease. Is brain form template okay? I can't find any online course links. I've been a member. Thank you.
Right. So, and I don't know what your membership status is, but um, you can contact our support desk and just say that you would like the forms, and we will make sure that you are put into the right segment of the disability approval course. And then you can access the forms. Yeah.
Okay. Or you can also send us an email at help@thedisabilitydigest.com. We'll see how we
Mm-hmm.
can help you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we have Mrs. K here in the comments section. She said that she would need help for her case. She needs representation for SSDI claim. She got denied January 27 this year. So, yeah, we can definitely talk to you, evaluate your case, and look into the possibility of representation. Come and join us as a member. I also sent the link in the comment. Let me pin that for everyone so that you would be able to see it easily. All right, Ray, should we let Ray in? He hasn't sent in his question yet, but
We can let Ray in. I just want to share with you this note that I received. Actually, this was put into Benny. And I'm gonna like just kind of skip through and paraphrase it. I'm on SSDI, keep up with my appointments. I'm okay with the money that I'm receiving, not too much. Can't afford anything, above and beyond the basics, but I'm okay with that. I'm not dead. The good thing is um, is that in following your information, I enjoy the message that you put out about doing something. I've learned from you about the juice, which I've referred to Gladys McGarry and her juice, like finding something to do to keep your mind busy. Even if you just do a meditation exercise, which she goes on to explain that she's limited to really doing that. But if you're not able to work and you're like in a total rebuild, or you might not ever be able to work again, finding your purpose and doing something for yourself could be as simple as controlling your thoughts in your mind and your meditation process. I thought this was definitely worthy of it. I mean, we all have our I believe we all do. We all have our thought process that we need to control, and you can. I'm optimistic that if you're suffering from a physical injury or some other type of brain health, that you can find some time to meditate and find your juice. So thank you for that contribution.
thanks for that. And yeah, I agree on
Mm-hmm.
the mind-body connection. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep. All right. So we're gonna roll the dice, and is it Ray?
Ray,
All
yes,
right.
I'm gonna
Hooray for Ray. Let him in. Come on
Ray.
down.
All right. Hi, Ray.
Not able to work.
Hello.
And you're like in a total rebuild, and you might not ever be able to work again. Right. So if you would turn the volume off on the live show so we don't get some feedback, we would
Okay.
love to speak with you and see how we
Yeah,
can help you out.
I just did that. Uh, Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um, the first, I have a question, but I wanted to comment on, the topic. One of the things I found, and you mentioned this toward the end, is having the medical records checked.
Mhm.
Um, I always make it a point to get a copy and to read through, and if there's any kind of discrepancy, I would address it right then and there. Mainly because if the functional evaluation says one thing and the medical record says another, that could cause a problem.
Yeah, that's great advice. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you participating from? Are you approved going through the
Yeah,
process?
I'm already approved. I'm out here in Long Island, New York, and
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
well,
I heard the accent.
well, there you go. So I always make it a point, just to end that, I make it a point to check the medical records.
Good.
Um, there is another thing that I wanted to mention with medical records that you may run into. They have a series, some of these software programs have a series of questions with default answers on them that are not even asked to the patient. Some of those could be hurtful, especially things like, did the patient arrive with a companion or a caregiver? Is the patient able to walk up and down stairs? Is the patient able to walk 500 feet? And all of the default answers are set to yes.
Oh, good point.
I go through this with my orthopedist a lot. Uh, it's um, it's just horrendous. I say your MAs they need to ask these questions, and they need to type them in. Um, but anyway, that was just a comment I wanted to make. But I wanted your view on something.
Sure.
I was
That's very
approved.
valuable, Ray. Thank you.
Uh, I want your opinion on this. It's just an outlook. What you think? I was approved in 2017
Hmm.
in the mine category, so medical improvement not expected. I have not had a review. It would have been due this past December.
Hmm.
I'm 65 now. What would be your opinion of whether or not you think that they would send me a review? And if I was to be cut off, would they take the Medicare away as well?
I think, this is just a total dice roll guess at your age and like the approval status for your medical condition. I'd say it's a really slim chance, like 8% that they would invest the money in reviewing you. That's just my take. Um,
Because
and
they're not going to really save very much on me. I mean, I would just simply go for early retirement if that be the case. There's really no point in me actually going to an ALJ with it. I mean, by then I'll be 68. Considering
yeah.
it'll take 3 years, there's no sense in even bothering to do that, right?
What is your full retirement age?
66 and 10 months.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, right. So I think I agree with that. I agree with that.
So,
Yeah.
that's really all I had for you. I appreciate you taking the time to,
Yeah.
give me your view on that.
No, I mean, I appreciate you sharing that information. That's a great point. I hope it makes a difference for others that are out there. So thanks for the contribution, Ray. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. I
You
really
bet. Enjoy
appreciate
your
it.
day.
Nice talking to you. Take care.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Ray. So,
All right.
everyone, our link is still open if you wanted to ask your question live and speak with Brian. Um,
Or
yeah, feel free.
Nadine.
Or me. Yeah. But while we wait for someone to join us in Zoom, we have a question here from Zippy. She said, have you heard that SSA starting March 27 this year is going to collect 100% of my money for overpayment? I have a 60-month payment plan. Will this affect me? Overpayment is not my fault.
No, I haven't heard that. The regulation, to my knowledge, has not changed. We just had, Attorney Brown here a couple weeks ago talking about that. We had, I think it was last week, we had an overpayment situation. So the
Yeah.
overpayment regulation changed in 2024, where the max return payment is 10% of your disability check. So if they're pushing for more, then you can use the regulation to get around that. There are resources like videos if you are on a YouTube channel and you type in overpayment, but that's really going to be the most important piece of it. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Now we have another question from Randolph. He said, I recently filed via telephone, and the CSR informed me my $2,400 per month benefit from another program would disqualify me from SSI. And then I receive a letter a few days later saying that SSI disqualified my SSDI claim processing. So he is a bit confused
Me too.
about.
Me too. They're two separate programs. Social Security disability is not impacted by resources. Um, so that's really an interesting one. If if that's we can help you with that. If you're a member here, then contact us with the letter. We can review it. If you're not, encourage you to join us, and the team here can take a look at it, see if we can advise what can be done. So it doesn't sound right.
Mhm. All right, so we have someone wanting to join us live. His name is Anthony, and he said that he just had his hearing today, and he have a few questions.
All right, let's talk to Anthony.
Hi, Anthony.
Hello.
Hello.
Um, I just was wondering, I had the hearing today for my HO. Um, and we had to amend my onset date and stuff like that, but I feel like it went pretty well. Um, I'm just kind of optimistic because during the end, the vocational expert noted 3 jobs that I could do, and they said they were like the same um level of like difficulty. They said they were easy jobs. And then they went into like the numbers and stuff, but my attorney asked her after if I could do those jobs with like limitations, like the 10%. And she told my attorney no, and then the judge, it lasted like 45 minutes. The judge just told me um, that was the end, that we had no more questions.
Okay. And so your question for us is, just to make sure I understand it, Anthony, thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Yes. I haven't like really talked to anybody, but I'm just kind of going over everything, and I know I'm in the process of waiting for their um answers and stuff like that, but I was just
Right, right.
wondering,
Yeah, like what our take is on it. Yeah.
yeah, because I'm like only 27, and I have been seeing like some people get accepted for the disorder, but that was a big thing. They were asking me like what a typical day was like and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of information that goes into a disability case, and I'm not, you know, I'm not, I'm not avoiding the question. I just want to, you know, give you my take based on the limited information that I have. You are right at 27. It's an increased degree of difficulty. How many days a month of work had you been missing, like for the last, say, back to the onset date? Like, do you have a like figure for?
Um, they they she said that I was able to miss one day after they named the three jobs, and she put it like it's like 10 to 12 days a year,
Mm-hmm.
and
That you
anything
can miss and still have those jobs.
right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Uh, well, I mean, and then what it comes down to is what your medical records will support for how many days your condition would prevent you from missing work, like I had covered in the beginning of this program. So do you know if there's anything documented?
Um, well, they pointed out that I worked at like a company here in my town, and they're pretty local. We do have like some jobs in like Mexico, but they kind of stopped working them. But when they asked about, and that was like the main one, when they asked how many uh jobs were available in the United States, the lady said there was only like 400 of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
the job could be anywhere. I don't know where you are, but it could be on the other side of the country. As long as there is a job for your age and your status, it doesn't matter where it is. So, I mean, here's my take. I definitely hope and pray that everything works out for you. If you can't work, you sound like certainly a concerned individual, and I respect that. And a shout out to everybody else that's out there listening to give Anthony, you know, some well wishes for the outcome. At this time, you know, if you're not able to work and you've been trying to work, I just hope it works out for you. For me to predict it with a limited amount of information, even if I had your entire case file and I went to court, right now it's in the judge's hands. And the voc rehab expert could say all the things right in your favor,
mhm,
and the judge could still lay down the trump card, not in your favor. Um,
right.
yeah, what was your date that you last worked?
Actually, it was February 17th. I was doing order picking for Target, and I started in January 2025, like the middle of January. It only lasted 2 months. I was only able to work 2 months, but yeah, I had to amend my onset date, which I was fine with because the attorney I decided to go with said that I was making too much money when I was working for them, and she was just telling me about, you can only have one failed work attempt, and so
Yep.
she was, um, but it still doesn't really, because he was asking me questions about like, you know, don't mean to say it, but like drug use, and I told him that was like in high school, so we got a conclusion like prior to 2020,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and um, so yeah, I just didn't really feel I feel comfortable with it, but when he just said that any more questions, and I told him no, and he basically said that that was everything.
Okay. Here's some information perhaps will be helpful for you. Like right now, I've expressed my opinion where it's at, and like it's in the judge's hands and God's hands to make the decision. Your ability to influence it right now, unless they have asked for additional information,
Mhm.
it's done, right?
Yeah.
So going forward from here, there's a few things to think about. If you're approved, great. Love for you to let us know. If you're not approved, I expect that you may have another shot at it based on your work history if you've been working part-time. So what I would, maybe you know this, what your date last insured is? Do you know that term?
Um, I think so. Um, yeah, because yeah, I applied for like unemployment and stuff like that, and they were just telling me about you know, leaving the job without notice and stuff like that, and I really didn't was trying to explain to him, but you can't really explain to him. But yeah, they were kind of telling me a little bit about, when you have a job and you make so much money that you get insured if you don't leave like on a
Yeah,
um
we're talking about two different things. What was the date
okay.
that you last worked? You said February, right?
Yes.
And before that, when did you work?
I was doing stuff for the Salvation Army during Christmas.
All right. So let's say that you worked some in 2024. Yeah?
Yes.
Did you
Just at the end.
did you earn more than $8,000 in 2024?
Unfortunately, it was only I believe like 700, which it was towards the end of 2024. I tried working at a casino that they opened here, and it didn't work out, unfortunately. But I did do the classes and stuff, and they paid me. But
Okay, let's do it this
yeah.
way. This will be the easiest way to do it. The term that you need to remember is
Mhm.
date last insured. And that is the date that you were last insured for your Social Security disability benefits. It's usually about 5 years after you have stopped working. So let's say it was 2023. I'm just going to say, for example. And
Mhm.
then, so in 5 years in 2028, your Social Security disability benefits will expire and you won't have access to them anymore. So for you, if you
Oh.
don't get approved on this case, Anthony,
Mhm.
then,
Mhm.
and you're not able to work, which is why you applied in the first place, then our advice and strategy is to wait 6 months till your conditions become more severe, ideally, or you have
Mhm.
other conditions, and then apply again, because you can apply up until your date last insured. So it sounds like you have at least another opportunity to do that. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
okay. Yeah,
Right?
that does make sense.
Okay. So hopefully that's not the situation, but if it
Mhm.
is, you're still in the game, my friend.
Okay.
Right. I'd love for you to let us know how it goes. And,
Mhm.
as a member here at the Disability Digest, there's a few things that could help you. We'll upgrade your membership, teach you what you should be paying for and not paying for when you're a disability recipient. We have a benefit protection program that's ideal for somebody that's young like you. So those are some of the things. So if you're not a member yet, encourage you to join us.
Okay.
Either way, if you're a member or not a member yet, when you get approved, um, then let us know so we can update your membership for you. Okay.
All right.
All right. Good luck. I hope it
Thank
all works
you.
out. We give you a big shout out. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for
Thank
joining,
you.
Anthony. We wish you well.
Thank you.
All right. So we got a question here. I think this will be the last question from the comment section. Where was that? I I lost it. All right. I am on SSDI. I have a condition that requires me to use the bathroom often. I have to take unscheduled bathroom breaks. How would the review people handle this type of claim review?
Well, it'd be similar to the approval process. So I'll take somebody that has, say, Crohn's disease, that has frequent toileting needs. when you say you need to use the term that they use in the disability process is toiling. Let's say your toileting requirements are three times an hour, and it's 10 minutes for each, right? So this is the limitation that you want to be communicating to your doctors and your medical records so that they're in there. So that means if you're doing that 3 times an hour at 10 minutes each, my math, Nadine, double check me, is 30 minutes. Out of the hour, you're in the restroom. Very difficult to maintain a job unless you have a really super portable laptop and they allow you to take your work on the go, which that doesn't qualify. I'm just having fun with it. So that's how you would communicate it. Yeah. Customize it for your own needs, of course.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's the last question that we have. If you guys would have any questions that come up of your mind after this live event, I just want to introduce them to our friend, Benny. Yeah, so you can ask him questions, and there you go. That's Benny. So I will send a link in our comment box so that you would be able to get access to our friend Benny if you have questions after this show. He is very much willing to answer you guys anytime.
Yep. Yep. And those could be questions about like anything, right? Nadine, could be qualifying, doctoring. It could be that regulation that I just shared with you to bring into your doctors, the CFR. Benny's been taught to answer all kinds of different questions. Good, good. Good event today. I got stumped. That was a wonderful question. I like to be challenged. So thank you for whoever submitted that from Philip's group. And for those of you out there in Philip's group, thank you for tuning in. As a reminder, he runs like one of the largest, fastest growing Facebook groups out there that supports people going through the approval process. We're delighted to partner with them because we provide the how-tos and they provide the support. So that's our working relationship. So we look forward to having Philip back. Next week, no live event. Week after, we will be back with a special live event, all new format. So mark your calendars and come back. Thank you for your participation today. That was wonderful. Nadine, thank you for your assistance.
Thank you so much. And just a shout out to Philip. He is watching us live right now. So hi, Philip.
Yes, Philip. How'd we do? All right, everybody. Make it a great day. Thanks for your participation.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.